from the Mount Washington Auto Road. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, this is a huge year for the Auto Road.
This is probably the hugest year. I mean, in that regard, it's 150th anniversary.
Oh,
I mean,
my gosh.
If you think about all the things that have changed in this valley, in this country, over the last 150 years, that experience is still being offered the way it was to the traveling public in 1861.
At the Mount Washington Auto Road.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful attraction to have right here in our own valley. It really is.
You know, I have been working on and around the Auto Road for over 20 years now, amazingly enough, and it never gets old. You know, I mean, I've done documentaries on up there, countless articles. We've done reenactments of almost every kind of history that's taken place up there. Worked on dozens of events.
Right.
And just from day to day, it's almost a miraculous show.
Oh my gosh.
If nothing else is going on, nature alone provides that.
Right, with the weather and the ever-changing scenery, with the different seasons. So 150 years is definitely to be commended. You have activities going on, and you have had activities going on throughout this year.
Yep.
But in particular, maybe you can tell us real quick about the history. You brought a lot of photographs. We have some video to show. And we have, there's a big event going on this weekend we want to talk about, and of course some upcoming events too.
Well, it took 8 years really to build the Auto Road, and I mean, if we're going to start, we don't want to go back that far. It was not quite a dark and stormy night, but I'm sure they had many of them up there.
Right.
8 years. It finally opened in 1861. It started with mountain wagons, the Mount Washington Carriage Road.
Okay.
So it really became the Auto Road starting in 1911. What you're seeing here, that was actually a shot from when we were filming the Road to the Sky documentary, which they have up there now, which ran on PBS when it was originally produced. That is Lee Sawyer and his 6-horse team running what was an actual mountain wagon that was on the road in the early days.
Oh my
that has been
gosh.
fully restored. That was done, you know, years and years ago by Doug Philbrook, the former president. And we actually have some footage of that we're gonna share with you in a little bit. Yeah. So the first 50 years it was the Mount Washington Carriage Road, and it was right around 1911 or so when it started to become the Auto Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Unbelievable. Oh, look at this.
Ah, yes. Now what we're looking at here.
That would be a fun way to go up the mountain.
That was a very special day. In August of 1899, Freeland Stanley, who's known as this later for the Stanley Steamers, went up with his wife Flora in that's a locomobile, and that was the first automobile to ascend Mount Washington in 1899. Yep. And that very automobile is on display in the Glenn House at the base.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's a popular picture that people want to have taken standing next to that one.
Oh my gosh, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and that runs. They had that restored, and I actually had an opportunity to take a mile or two up.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Here we're looking at 1917 Pierce Arrows. These were the stages for a while. I mean, going through, there was Packards. The very first vehicle was a Thomas Flyer, actually. And there's very few pictures of the horses and stages passing on the road, the vehicles and the horse-drawn.
Right.
But for a couple of years, it was that transitional time. But as we move forward, here we got into the 1930s. These are the 38 Ford Woodies. There is one of those actually still left and running. It was just in the parade in Bartlett for the 4th of July. And it's been fully restored. That is also on display at the Red Barn Museum, which is right there at the base. That museum is so worth seeing. Right. Because they've got all the early carriages and all these different stages through time. These, I believe, are the Internationals, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
International.